Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be reviewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 38-31 win versus the Chargers. So guys, let's get started talking about the first thing I want to mention, which is the bad, because quite frankly, there's a lot more good than bad in my opinion, but the first thing worth mentioning when talking about said bad things is Jordan Whitehead. Now, Jordan Whitehead did have a sack on Justin Herbert. He went in completely untouched on a blitz, got the sack on Justin Herbert, and overall, that was a good play. However, he did get beat deep in for a touchdown earlier on in the game. Before that, he also had a late hit on Justin Herbert that resulted in a penalty, and you just can't do that, especially in today's NFL where they're calling penalties on pretty much everything. You can't have a late hit on the quarterback like that whenever he's going out of bounds on the sideline. There's just really no excuse for it. They're going to call a penalty on that basically every single time. So Jordan Whitehead, I thought, had an okay game, but he did get exposed in coverage a couple of times. He did get that late penalty hit on Justin Herbert. So overall, I think that Jordan Whitehead could have had a little bit of a better game. The next thing worth talking about when talking about the bad is the Ryan Succop missed field goal. Ryan Succop did miss a 44-yard field goal. He did redeem himself by making the rest of his kicks along the rest of the way throughout the game, but you still want to make him make a 44-yard field goal. I know Bruce Arians had alluded to, well, if he makes it from 40 yards or under, he's pretty much fine. But, Ryan Succop really should have made that 44-yard field goal. It would have made things a little bit easier for the Buccaneers. Now, in weird hindsight, that missed field goal led to a fumble by Chargers running back Joshua Kelly, which then resulted in the Buccaneers scoring a touchdown, which is cool, but at the end of the day, Ryan Succop still missed a field goal, and we don't want our kickers missing field goals. So, Ryan Succop, please make your kicks in the future. Next thing I want to mention is Ronald Jones dropping the ball in the receiving game. I believe he had 3 drops in this game, which again, you just can't really have. We had talked about so much about Ronald Jones' improvement as a receiving back in the offseason, and so far up to this point, I thought that, he was doing an all right job as a receiving back, but in this game, it really didn't work out that well. He ended up having 3 drops, which was just insanely unfortunate, so hopefully he can clean those up in the future. Next thing I want to talk about, Sean Murphy-Bunting getting beat deep on one play. That just wasn't a good thing. He got beat very badly for a touchdown, again, by Justin Herbert, who had a phenomenal game, by the way. Shout out to Justin Herbert. He did awesome in this game. But again, just stuff like that, getting beat on deep plays. We saw it with Jordan Whitehead. We saw it with Sean Murphy-Bunting. Just clean those up a bit, and really this game would have looked a whole lot different. And I think that that is something that will get corrected moving forward with this Thursday night game versus the Bears. The second to last thing I want to talk about in terms of the bad stuff is the out route. I cannot stress this enough. Same play, same wide receiver, same route. Tom Brady threw a pick 6 in this game versus the Chargers. Jameis Winston threw a pick 6 last year, I believe, versus the Texans. It was the same exact thing. It was actually really freaky to see. So overall, that route just doesn't work for this offense. Maybe we should take it out. Overall, again, it was kind of a bad throw by Brady. It was inside. The cornerback, Davis, jumped the route and just scored a very easy pick 6. Just take that route out of the playbook. It didn't work for Jameis. It doesn't look like it's going to work for Tom Brady. Take it out. We don't really need that route, in my opinion. So, yeah, overall, just move on from that. Finally, guys, the last thing that I want to mention in terms of the bad stuff is going to be the screen game, specifically blocking for our screen game. We still can't have effective blocking in the screen game, unfortunately, which sucks because the offensive line played phenomenal in this game. I will talk about them in a minute, but overall, the Bucs have got to be a better screen passing team because I think once they actually are able to execute more on their screen plays, it's going to look phenomenal. This offense is going to be absolutely insane. So overall, I need to see improvement more in the screen game. But that's pretty much everything to do with the bad. Now let's move on to the good, which there is plenty of it. First player, Ronald Jones, 26 total touches in this game, 128 total yards from scrimmage. Great game by Ronald Jones. He had his second ever 100-yard rushing game, so shout out to him. I thought he did a phenomenal job finding the holes, making guys miss, and really rushing with power. With Leonard Fournette missing this game, LeSean McCoy got a little dinged up as well. They didn't have a lot of options in terms of guys they could turn to for the running game, but Ronald Jones did incredible. He had an absolutely phenomenal game in my opinion, and I want to see him build on this game and really start to put out that breakout season that a lot of us thought that he was going to have. The next player I want to mention, Mike Evans, continued to do Mike Evans things. 7 catches, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. Mike Evans is phenomenal. Somebody actually asked me in the reactions live stream if I thought that Mike Evans was still going to hit 1,000 yards on the season. I still think it's definitely possible, but his touchdown numbers have been insane so far this year. He has 5 touchdowns now through 4 games, which is awesome. Keep it up. Again, I said this last week. I'm going to say it again this week. If the receiving yard numbers are lower, but the touchdown numbers are higher, I'm going to take the touchdown numbers because that means we're scoring more points, and I'll take that every day of the week. So overall, even if Mike Evans doesn't hit 1,000 yards receiving, his touchdown numbers have been insane so far up to this point. So let's keep on bumping those up. Next player worth mentioning is Bradley Pinion, who punted 3 times in this game. 2 punts got down inside the 20-yard line. I talked about this earlier this week, how field position could be a really big thing for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team in this game versus the Chargers. Bradley Pinion continued to do Bradley Pinion things. He's the people's champ for a reason. 2 out of his 3 punts inside the 20. That's a pretty darn good percentage in my opinion. So overall, I thought that Bradley Pinion continued to have a really good game. All of his kickoffs, I believe, were touchbacks again. But if not, again, still phenomenal jobs helping out with field position in terms of Bradley Pinion having that type of game. So shout out to him for that. Lavonte David's the next player worth mentioning. 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Devin White seemed to be a little absent in this game. I believe he finished with 4 tackles, but he still had 1 fumble recovered, so shout out to him for that. But overall, Lavonte David still continued to do Lavonte David things. He's absolutely insane, and he's still one of the best linebackers in the entire NFL. So I think that Lavonte David is just going to continue to be great week in and week out, continue to be absolutely everywhere around the football, continue to make plays in pass coverage, continue to make plays in run defense. Lavonte David just did awesome. Next player worth mentioning is going to be O.J. Howard, who I will have a separate video talking about here in a little bit. 3 catches, 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Shout out to O.J. Howard. That was an awesome game. It's a shame he got hurt, but I will have an update on that injury here in a little bit. But overall, O.J. Howard continues to do awesome O.J. Howard things. Next player worth mentioning, Scotty Miller. 5 receptions, 83 yards, and 1 touchdown. He stepped up big in the absence of Chris Godwin. Also, Justin Watson did some okay things. I think he had 5 catches for 40 yards. Would have liked to have seen Jadon Mickens out there a little bit more, but that unfortunately was not the case. But yeah, Scotty Miller, I thought, had a pretty decent game receiving. Continues to really be an underdog, kind of an overachiever given where he was drafted last year as a 6th round draft pick. It seems like he's building chemistry with Brady. Brady and Miller have connected on a deep ball a couple of times now, which has worked out beautifully. So overall, yeah, Scotty Miller's been definitely impressing, definitely overachieving so far this year, and it seems like things are going well between him and Brady. Next player worth mentioning is going to be Tom Brady himself. Finished the game 30 of 46 passing, 369 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception, that 1 interception being the pick 6. I thought Tom Brady overall had a phenomenal game. I thought that the first half was a little rough, but the second half was absolutely masterful. It was a GOAT-esque type of second half. The Bucs were down 24-7 going into the second half, and Tom Brady came away with the 38-31 win, which is awesome, okay? I really think that if this was the Bucs team of years past, they probably would not have come away with this win, but Tom Brady just did phenomenal in the second half. It was absolutely amazing to see. There was a lot of pessimism coming out of that first half, but Tom Brady came in and said, you know what, guys, I think I'm just going to go ahead and win the game. So beautiful, beautiful thing to see. I was very happy to see this. Tom Brady so far, I believe, has, I think, 4 or 5 interceptions. I want to say 4 interceptions to, let me think, 11 touchdowns. So overall, Tom Brady's having a pretty decent season so far. Of course he is. The Bucs are 3-1. That's pretty darn good. And he continued to look amazing in the second half of this game. Next player worth mentioning is going to be Carlton Davis. 1 interception, 2 pass deflections. Carlton Davis, my hashtag #1 cornerback, continues to get turnovers and make pass deflections, which is really good because interceptions have not been a thing that Carlton Davis has done in his first couple of years with Tampa Bay. So I think now he has either 2 or 3 interceptions. He might have 3, which is awesome. Congrats to Carlton Davis for getting these interceptions and really showing that he's one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL in terms of youth and development. It's absolutely awesome to see. Next player worth mentioning, Vaughn. He had 1 touchdown. Just shout out to the rookie for getting his first NFL touchdown. Same thing for Cameron Brate. He had 1 receiving touchdown again. Shout out to him for that. It was an absolutely awesome thing to see. Shaq Barrett's the next player worth mentioning. He had 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and 7 total tackles. He is now on 3 sacks on the season. I still think he's going to finish with double-digit sacks, and I was very happy to see him get another sack under his belt on the young rookie Justin Herbert. So overall, I thought that Shaq Barrett had a pretty decent game. Finally, the last group of guys worth mentioning, I say group of guys because I want to shout out all of them. It's the offensive line. This offensive line is the best it has ever played this entire season. Hands down. 0 sacks on Brady, and they actually run blocked? Are you kidding me? It's Christmas in October, guys. I was not expecting the offensive line to play this good. Joey Bosa versus Tristan Wirfs. Tristan Wirfs did phenomenal in shutting down Joey Bosa, which I was expecting Tristan Wirfs to do pretty decent against Joey Bosa, but not that good. I was very happy to see that Joey Bosa did not go up against Donovan Smith, but Donovan Smith even held up in his own right in pass protection, not so much run blocking on a few plays, but overall, this offensive line did a pretty darn good job. So I want to say, shout out to Donovan Smith for rebounding from the past couple of rough games he had versus the Saints and the Broncos. Shout out to Ali Marpet, who is, according to Pro Football Focus, the best guard in the NFL right now. Shout out to Ryan Jensen, who almost drew a flag because he's a very passionate guy and he will fight you if you are disrespecting his teammates. Shout out to Alex Kappa, who is continuing to improve as a young offensive lineman. And shout out to Tristan Wirfs for really containing Joey Bosa. Like, I would say the 2 most impressive guys on this offensive line today were probably Tristan Wirfs for shutting down Joey Bosa, and then probably Donovan Smith just for overall rebounding, and then also just everybody. Everybody did good, okay? I would say Tristan Wirfs was the most impressive, though, out of everybody in this offensive line today. He played absolutely phenomenal, and I was very happy to see that. But guys, that's going to be it for this overall review for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are 3-1 on the season. So far, so good. The Saints, I believe, are now 2-2. They defeated the Lions. The Panthers, I believe, are 2-2. Maybe they're 1-3. And the Falcons have yet to play. They're going to be playing on Monday. But the Buccaneers have a short week. They're going to be playing Thursday Night Football versus the Bears, which means I'm going to be having videos out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we will be doing the live reaction on Thursday. So going to be a very busy week, I'm sure, for all of us leading up to this Bears game. But as always, I am very, very excited. But guys, let me know what your thoughts about this game down in the comment section below. What did you think was good coming out of this game? What did you think was bad coming out of this game? And overall, just give me your thoughts. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.